Well, gang, we got a big one tonight. I guess that's what she said. But today we're talking about Project Bluebeam. Something that YouTube don't like. They don't like it. So like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you're brand new. This is one of those topics that always get buried. Always get buried. Shout out to the Y-Files. We got a movie up ahead, guys. Put your seatbelts on. Hide your kids. Hide your wives. I shouldn't have to say that, but this show isn't news. It's entertainment. I don't know, I get things wrong. Here we go.
You're on your way to your assignment. You've worked the same job for 7 years. You didn't choose it, but they say it's important and you're well suited for it. Everyone's occupation is assigned based on ability. To run society any other way would be chaotic, the way life was before the event. The event was the day everyone on Earth became a single society. You don't remember life before. Nobody does.
True.
The media reminds you of overpopulation, pollution, illness, and endless wars for resources.
And they still keep on going.
The world was fractured into different states with different cultures, religions, and leaders. It must have been awful. These stories make you glad your memories were erased. The event saved humanity. Cities are calm and efficient. No borders, no conflicts. One global society, provided for and secure. Everything just works.
Context why he's saying that is because Project Bluebeam is supposed to bring this change. And on paper, it might sound good, but the agenda behind is very, very evil. And it's to erase all religions and all that crap, and to have a false flag, false alien attack, and there's a whole lot of crap which I'm sure he's gonna get into, and we're gonna talk about it.
But sometimes a memory will flash through your mind. Riots, violence, destruction, tension, anxiety. You push it away. Why think about the past when life is so much better now? But some people can't let go. The event deniers.
And here
Bitter malcontents spreading disinformation that life was somehow better before. It's deplorable. Thankfully, these troublemakers who cling to the past disappear as soon as they're identified.
These videos had to be made by the AI. Yeah, 100%. 100% right. Unless this is like written in a different language.
Once all the event deniers are gone, we could finally be rid of that conspiracy theory. Shadow governments, secret technology, UFOs and aliens. Everyone knows none of that is real. No sane person believes the event was anything but a gift. And it definitely wasn't some conspiracy called Project Bluebeam.
Here we go, boys! It is going down.
Serge Monast wasn't the type of guy you'd expect to become a global conspiracy icon. He was a journalist from Quebec, Canada. He focused mainly on political commentary. In the early 90s,
and I'm in Montreal, Quebec as well. Oh shit! Yeah, this hits home, right? This hits home. That's crazy. How many of you guys are in the Quebec province? Let me know.
He didn't like where society was headed. Something was happening. He could feel it, but he couldn't identify it. So he did some digging, and his fears were justified. He discovered a secret cabal of powerful elites controlling the world from behind the scenes. He called them the Shadow Masters. But you can substitute shadow government, deep state, military intelligence complex.
Illuminati.
Right. Whatever you want to call them, Serge Monast was determined to expose them.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Don't get ahead of me.
Oh, no.
In 1994,
spoiler alert, they killed him.
He published a book about his investigation, Project Bluebeam, which outlines a detailed plan to create a one-world government and a new world order. And the plan is about to go into motion. NASA and the United Nations will be front organizations. The UN will allow the elites to influence every country on Earth, and NASA will create the technology to turn influence into control.
For context, that technology is the holographic, right? Or I'm probably butchering it, but holograms. Yeah, that's the one, holograms, right? And we have them now.
Monast discovered that Project Bluebeam will create the biggest hoax ever conceived. Using advanced technology and psychological manipulation, this illusion will be so convincing that it becomes the new reality shared by everyone on Earth, a reality controlled by an elite few. Project Bluebeam has 4 key goals to ensure everyone's primary allegiance is to the New World Order. First, destroy religion.
Yeah.
Second, destroy national pride. Third, destroy the family. And fourth, destroy individual creative freedom.
And I would say like family and individuality is getting destroyed. I would say they're getting very close to it. Yeah, that's they've been attacking us on that on individual levels for a whole ass time, for a long ass time, I should say. Absolutely.
Hello, this is already happening.
How? Yeah, exactly. How you would say, like, think about the content you're consuming, and I'm talking about, when I say content, I mean the hub content. I don't want to get into specific. That one, right? The food that we're consuming, right? And the agendas that are being pushed, right? Men are becoming females, females are becoming men. So yeah, there we go, destroying the family values as well, and all that. So yeah, they're
as soon as
there.
his book was released, he was followed, surveilled, his phones were tapped, he was harassed, and then there was a knock on the door.
Hitman?
Child Protective Services.
Oh.
They took his kids away.
What?
Crazy.
Why?
Well, his children were homeschooled. The Canadian government didn't like this. They were taken from him and made wards of the state so they could receive a proper public education.
Run?
Programming, man, not proper education, programming. But I would say, like, back in the 90s, in the early 2000s, that sort of school education, school programming was miles better than currently, though. Because right nowadays, like, kids don't even know who they are, right? Like, they're lost. They don't even know, like, what a woman is anymore. They're confused about their gender and all that. So I would say the education back then was miles better in comparison to today. But okay, let's continue.
By the government.
Yep, he never saw them again. A few months later, in December, another knock on the door.
Pizza?
Police.
Yeah.
Why would there be pizza, man?
He was arrested for spreading misinformation.
It's been a long time since Canadians had freedom of speech, eh?
Manast was
Sadly.
questioned by police for hours and then spent the night in jail. Then, the very next day, well, what usually happens to whistleblowers who expose secret government programs.
They write books and go on Joe Rogan.
No, I mean whistleblowers not for military intelligence.
Oh, this happens.
What was that? Did you sneeze?
No. Don't you see me slicing my fin across my throat?
I see you, that's why I did that.
No, it's not even moving.
Hang on. How about this?
Still nothing.
Nah, I get you, man. Don't even try. Like, come on, AJ. Hecklefish giving you way too many signals right now.
Yeah, I might have to ease up on the Botox.
Yeah, you're not fooling anybody.
It's for my migraines.
So what happens to whistleblowers?
They get dead.
Yes.
Yeah, spoiler alert, they killed him.
The next day, Serge Manast was found dead in his apartment.
That's why, like, this story is fascinating. But here's the thing, though. Like, those of you that are familiar with Project Bluebeam, those of you that are not, you're getting familiar slowly but surely. And I'm trying to give you context as well. And you're going to hear mostly everything in this video, right? Those of you that are familiar with this Project Bluebeam, do you think this is really going to happen? Because I don't... Now, it's like... The cat is out of the bag. The cat has been out of the bag for way too long. People are aware of it. Not everybody for sure. Even if they were to pull something like what they claim or what he claimed before he was killed, if they were to pull that off, I mean, they're gonna surely fool the masses, I think. So yeah, right. I think they're gonna fool. But what about the people that know about it? Are they still gonna do it? That's the real question. Or are they gonna do it differently? Or are they not doing it?
The official report said he died of a heart attack. He was only 51 years old. His latest physical showed him in perfect health. 2 other journalists looking into Project Bluebeam also had sudden heart attacks, though they had no history of heart problems. So we know the goals of Project Bluebeam: one world government, one world religion, one national identity, and the erosion of the family in favor of the state. Those are big goals. Big goals require bold moves. The Shadow Masters know this. And it all starts with an earthquake.
Oh, I thought he was gonna say like a fake alien invasion, but that's part of it. That's part of it. Oh.
The elites behind Project Bluebeam know that implementing a one-world government requires everyone to share a single set of values. That makes the population much easier to control.
Yep.
Project Bluebeam achieves its goal in 4 steps. Step 1, create a single religion where everyone worships the same God, the God they create. Serge Manast called this the New Age religion.
we must remember that the New Age religion is the very foundation for the New World Government, without which the dictatorship is completely impossible. That is why the Blue Beam Project is so important to them, but has been so well hidden until now.
How do you destroy all religions? Well, find new archaeological artifacts that discredit them. Produce hard physical evidence as proof that their doctrine is wrong. It wouldn't be the first time that religion was impacted by a new discovery. The Dead Sea Scrolls. For hundreds of years, the Bible was thought to be complete. Then in 1947, a shepherd finds some clay jars in a cave, and suddenly there are new religious texts like the Book of Jubilees, the Wisdom of Solomon, and the Book of Tobit.
Yeah, and the Book of Enoch.
Right.
The Book of Enoch, link below. It's got giants, it's got angels, it's got the...
Anunnakis, right? Like, and right now, like, a lot of people do believe in, like, Anunnakis are the one that actually made us. I mean, that's fair. Like, listen, man, life's a mystery, man. Life's a mystery. But okay, if the Anunnakis made us, then who made the Anunnakis? The question would never end, though. The question will never end.
Great Flood, it's even got... Anunnaki.
This discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls didn't fundamentally change religion, but it did cause scholars to ask, what else were we missing? Imagine an earthquake in the Middle East, which reveals hard evidence that Jesus never existed. Chaos. Or an earthquake that reveals technology buried for 2 million years that proves human DNA was engineered by aliens or another advanced race.
Chaos again.
Anunnaki.
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 Yeah, right? Like, I feel like that if it turns out, like, for example, let me know, like, if you guys are religious or not, and I welcome everybody. I'm personally Muslim, so, yeah, we, in Islam, like, it's mentioned that God has created different creatures, some of them that if he wants us to meet, we will, some of them we will never know, and we're not the only one. So, it doesn't, like, there is not, like, what's this called? What's the word? So it does hint at the fact that we're not alone, essentially, right? In the Quran, right? It does hint at that. But here's the thing, though. Their goal is to destroy all religions, right? Like Christianity, Islam, like all the major religions with that. And I guess the way they would be able to do it is with the Anunnaki. I think, yeah, for the longest amount of time I was thinking this, right? Like, because... yeah, like, people are not gonna, you know what I mean? If you're a believer, you're a believer, right? Simple as that, right? If you're a believer, you're a believer. How are they gonna destroy that? How are they gonna, like, you know, change your belief? That, just like that. The concept of Anunnaki, I think that concept, and already some people believe it. And I mean, like, listen, I think religion is a personal matter for sure. Like, if you believe in God, you believe in God. If you don't believe in, hey, that's fine, that's cool by me. But a lot of people are also now starting to believe in the concept of Anunnaki, and you never know, maybe, what if that's the real thing? But doubt it. I don't believe that personally, but just hypothetically saying, like, what if that's real? And what if that's the card they're gonna play? Holy crap, that is gonna destroy all religions. That's gonna destroy, like, all the beliefs. You know, if they were to prove it, like, it was just like an advanced race, like aliens that created us, the Anunnakis, right?
That would completely undermine not just the story of creation, but also debunk evolution. Project Bluebeam will fabricate any evidence necessary to discredit every religion on the planet, and they'll hide that evidence in an earthquake. If the right artifact were discovered, it would cause chaos within every faith. But what about people who don't belong to a religion or don't believe in God?
Yeah.
Project Bluebeam addresses this in step 2, the step where we get a new God.
Yeah, the Anunnaki, I'm assuming, right? Could be wrong, let's see.
Project Bluebeam's Step 2. Manass calls it the big space show in the sky, but it's so much more. He discovered that NASA and a few intelligence agencies developed the technology to project 3D holographic images into the sky. I say into because the system uses a combination of satellites and ground-based systems to manipulate the ionosphere. You don't need a screen. Images can be projected onto the particles in the atmosphere. The projections will appear.
AI, like, all of these B-roll footage that you're seeing is like 99%. I was gonna say 100%, but I'm 99% convinced it's made by, like, the latest AI video, right? So good for YouTube videos, I would say.
Here, so lifelike that people will believe they are witnessing a miracle. The dominant god of each region will appear in the sky. Imagine looking up and seeing Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, all speaking to their followers in their own language. Their god will tell them their beliefs are all wrong, then will slowly morph into a new god. This is the first appearance of the new Messiah, God of the New World Order.
The projections of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Krishna will merge into one, and explanations of mysteries and revelations will be disclosed. This one God will, in fact, be the Antichrist, who will explain that the various scriptures have been misunderstood and misinterpreted, and that the religions of old are responsible for turning brother against...
Yeah, Dajjal, right? So Antichrist, that's in Christianity. In Islam, it's like Dajjal. And yeah, in Islam, we also do believe that Jesus is going to come back as well, right? Christians, of course, do believe that. Yeah, right? Like, it's going to be... if they... That's the thing, though. Like, now that the cat is out of the bag, are they really going to do it, though? Or is this just like another conspiracy just to get you going through the night and get you just thinking and fascinated over that stuff? Maybe. Maybe.
Brother and nation against nation. Therefore, old religions must be abolished to make way for the new age, new world religion, representing the one God Antichrist they see before them.
Debunking old religions will be enough to convert some people to this new one. Giant deities appearing and then converging into one Antichrist will convert a lot more. But these technologies won't work on everybody.
For sure.
Non-religious people will be terrified for sure, but they won't suddenly believe in a god based on a hologram, no matter how real it looks. The Shadow Masters know that. The Shadow Masters know that to create a one-world government and single religion, they need 100% of the population to believe. But you can't force a religious belief on somebody. They need to make the decision themselves, or at least be convinced they made it. The elites know this. That brings us to step 3. If you're not convinced by what you see, they'll use technology to broadcast the message directly into your brain. You may not realize it, but this technology is being used on you right now.
Crazy. I heard about something like that. And also, like, the food that you eat and all that, like, it's low vibration, like, they're lowering a lot of people's IQ. Like, the IQ points are dropping every single year. So a lot of this crap, if you think is not gonna work today, it might. You might be right, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna be right for a society 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if we have not blown ourselves up, right? So 10, 20 years from now, if they were to attempt something like that, you never know, man. It might work.
When the new god appears in step 2, you'll hear him speaking whether you believe in him or not. And you won't be able to escape his voice because you're not hearing it through your ears. His voice is coming from your mind. The third step of Project Bluebeam is mind control.
We have the technology.
They'll use
right?
electromagnetic waves to interfere with brain function. They can shape perceptions, create emotions, and influence beliefs.
The third step in the Bluebeam project uses electronically augmented two-way communication, where ELF, VLF, and LF waves will reach each person from within his or her own mind, convincing each of them that their own God is speaking to them from the very depths of their own soul. Such rays from satellites are fed from the memories of computers that have stored massive data about every human on Earth and their languages. The rays will then interlace with their natural thinking to form what we call diffuse artificial thought. That kind of technology goes into the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s research where the human brain has been compared to a computer. Information is fed in, processed, integrated, and then a response is formulated and acted upon.
We know for a fact that the US military and intelligence have experimented with mind control.
Yeah,
we know
CIA,
they used
right?
sound waves in the Vietnam War to make the enemy anxious without knowing why. The CIA used these and all kinds of other methods to scramble people's brains.
Frequencies, vibration, music, sound, mind control, CIA, right? They've done a whole lot of crap.
And program them to be sleeper agents.
Link down in the breadbasket, Chief.
There's just a whole
The
lot of crap
government
that went
uses
down,
EM
man.
waves for all kinds of dark purposes. They've patented a device that can trigger emotions in a target from a half-mile away. But what's really scary
Sheesh.
about the patent is that it claims it can piggyback its signal onto any frequency. That would mean we can never escape it.
To provide a technique for producing a subliminal presentation which is inaudible to the listeners, yet is perceived and demodulated, decoded by the ear for use by the subconscious mind. Yeah, it's all about the subconscious mind, right?
Everything that uses electricity has an electromagnetic field. Think you're safe living off the grid? Nope. Radio signals can bounce off the ionosphere and reach anywhere in the world. The fourth and final stage of Project Bluebeam is the most sinister. Serge Menas predicts a universal supernatural manifestation with electronic means. In other words, an alien invasion.
Oh, yeah.
The elites will promise to unite and defend the world against our common enemy. But to do that, they'll need emergency power. But it's only temporary, so we won't resist authority. We'll beg for it.
Crazy. If they like hit us from all different angles, you know, mind control, like subliminal messaging, then like you know, false gods in the sky, and then like fake alien invasion, then power going out, this and that, no communication, no way for you to like surf the internet, and yeah, holy shit, like, yeah, everybody would be paranoid at that point. Like, even if you're somebody that is like, nah, that's Project Bluebeam, you would be like, yeah, like, what is going on? Like, let me just hop over on Twitter, let me hop over on Facebook, let me go over on YouTube, let's see, like, let me make a video, right? Nah, none of that. Gone. Everything gone. Shit, man, that would be wild. If it were to happen.
One is to make mankind believe that an alien invasion is about to occur at every major city on Earth, in order to provoke each major nation to use its nuclear weapons in order to strike back. The United Nations Court will require that all nations which launch nuclear weapons disarm when the invasion is shown to be false.
But here's the thing, right? Like, if something like this was to happen, let's just say, like, yeah, UFOs came out and they were like, okay, let's attack them. Oh shit, like alien invasion. If it's like really fake and it's part of the Project Bluebeam, some of the people in the know, they're gonna come forward, right? How many people gonna be behind this? I'm certain, like, not too many, but because they want to keep it hush hush. But still, like, it's not gonna be like 5 people's job. I'm assuming it's gonna be more than just that, right? Like, there would be like a group. So at least one of them is gonna go rogue on them and come out and leak all that information, right? Yeah, right. But they're probably gonna keep an eye out, a close eye out on everyone part of their group, probably. But still.
And how would the United Nations know that the invasion was false? They will have staged it, of course.
But somebody gotta leak it, like come on and say like it's fake, right?
Subsequently, I found out that up at Bunkport there were all these UFOs zipping around when Bush was up there out on a cigarette boat. And they didn't realize they were ours. So now we're getting into false flag 101.
A false flag attack. They'll use holographic projections as well as real man-made craft designed to look and move like UFOs. And here's the twist. The groundwork for this deception is being laid right now. All my life, UFOs and aliens were a fringe topic. When Serge Menas made his predictions, they were a fringe topic. Yet somehow he predicted that high-profile people from the military would come forward with claims of alien encounters, UFO crashes, and hidden government projects. He warned that whistleblowers aren't telling the truth, they're spreading disinformation. They're slowly bringing the subject of UFOs out of the fringe and into the mainstream.
Yeah.
That there is an overarching agenda that was hashed in between 53 and 56 to create the specter of a threat from outer space that does not exist.
And he said the best way to cause all people of the world to come together in one world government and end war forever would be if we were attacked by some other species from some other planet. And boy, that just clicked with me, and I knew that
they were thinking about
this
it, right?
is just another scam. This is the age of deception. There's no doubt about it. Age of deception, age of deception, age of deception, age of deception.
On June 28, 2001, Bill Cooper said the US would stage a false flag attack on a major city and blame, yay! It was an inside job, man. It was an inside job, bro. A lot of you already believe it was an inside job. Like, it was a friendly fire thing. I cannot say more than that, but a lot of people already believe that. And I'm assuming, like, you know, because after some time, they do declassify. Are they gonna declassify the 2001 September 9 attack? Are they gonna declassify that like 50 years from now, like 100 years from now? Hard to say, but I would not say like never on that. I think they're probably gonna eventually.
Deception, age of deception, age of deception, age of deception, age of deception, age of
6 weeks later on September, yeah, so in June, 6 weeks later, the tower, yeah, he said the government would
deception, age of deception,
kill him for revealing the truth.
deception, age of deception, age of deception.
6 weeks after that, Bill Cooper was killed in a shootout with authorities trying to serve him a warrant. Only one crime in America carries penalties more severe than murder.
Deception, age of deception, age of deception.
Tax evasion.
The military releases videos of UFOs, and Congress holds hearings. And the news reports all this with a straight face. This is all very new. By spreading the idea of non-human biologics with advanced technology, the elites behind Project Bluebeam are creating a narrative that will feel completely logical once the attack happens. Manas's theory goes on. The invasion will begin with staged UFO sightings over major cities, causing mass panic. Governments around the world will issue warnings of an impending global catastrophe. They'll ask permission for something unthinkable and will say yes.
For sure. The nukes. But here's the thing, right? Like, if everybody fire nukes, then it's over, right? Like for yeah, right? It's right, like it's over. Then the elite want to control the masses, but how are you gonna control them if the masses are no longer here? Or are you planning on launching the nukes in space and destroy them in space? There are holes.
Nuclear weapons will be deployed in a desperate battle for survival against alien forces. Can you imagine what it would be like if the skies were full of UFOs, fighter jets, and nuclear explosions? I mean, really think about it.
Yeah,
that would be so terrifying that people would gladly give up freedom in exchange for survival.
For sure, 110%. That's the thing though, like, maybe you're watching this and you're like, nah man, I'm tough, bro. I'm tough, man. Yeah, F em, man. I know this is Project Bluebeam. I'm sticking with it. I'm 100% believing. But at that point, bro, like, you're gonna think about your family, man. You're gonna think about your life, bro. Like, if something were to happen on that level, oh shit, man. Of course, like, even if you're not paranoid, seeing other people being paranoid around you is gonna make you paranoid. I guess maybe one person out of like millions would be unfazed by it, but the majority will be, man. Like, yeah, like, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it, Sharon. Thank you. Welcome on in.
So the nations of the world will unite into a central one-world government. It's the only way to protect humanity from further alien incursions. The false flag invasion will unite humanity, but more than that, it will change our entire worldview. It will redefine what we believe is possible. Now we'll believe anything. The final step of Project Bluebeam seeks to turn that belief into a tool of absolute control.
Seems like Black Mirror, right? Be watching an episode of Black Mirror, guys. That's it. Just believe that.
Once the threat is over and the population is calm, using a combination of holographic technology and radio waves, everybody's brains will be wiped. We'll have no memory of what came before this event.
See, that's a part, like, I'm like, yeah, that's another one of those hole in the story. Yeah, like, I wipe. But if they have the technology to implant memories, false memories, then I guess they can use the same technology to wipe it too, I guess, right? But it's just so, like, what's the word? It's so, like, supernatural that it's hard for the mind to believe it right now. Even though deep down I'm like, yeah, they probably have the technology. They probably have done tests. Like, you think that they never done a test where they tried to wipe someone's memory? Of course they have. Of course, the AI have done all kind of nasty crap. A lot of it is declassified. Some of it is probably gonna get declassified in years to come, and there's probably shitloads of things that we're never gonna find out, right? So they've done all kind of crap, man. They've done all kind of crap. So this is probably have been done, but even then, like, the mind is not ready to believe.
This will be done by building upon CIA brainwashing techniques developed and perfected
There we go, man, and I swear to God, I'm watching in real time with you guys.
During MK Ultra. Then with every mind on Earth a clean slate, the New World Order can begin. Families will be dissolved because you don't know who your family is.
Right.
You only know the information being transmitted to you by Project Bluebeam. So you go along willingly and peacefully. The Shadow Masters will have boots on the ground ready to go. Men, women, and children around the world will be lined up and inventoried. You might not remember who you are, but they will. They'll know where you live, what you did for a living, who your family is, and most of all, they will know what you own. Cars, homes, money, every asset you have will be accounted for. Your assets will be seized because you don't know what your assets were. And you'll be assigned housing and a job because you don't remember where you lived or what you did. But you won't work for money. You don't need money. Everything you need is provided for you. You feel like this is how life should be. Any other way of life sounds primitive and chaotic. All the wealth in the world belongs to a very select few people. They retain their memories, and they live in luxury. And they know that as long as they keep the population fed, meaning fed food and fed propaganda, people will comply. And anyone who doesn't, they quickly disappear. All homes and businesses will have cameras and microphones. It's illegal to tamper with these. Finding dissenters is easy. You just watch, wait, and act. Within 2 generations, the New World Order will seem perfectly natural. Dissenting wouldn't even make sense. By then, children aren't born to parents. Everyone is sterilized at birth. The Shadow Masters keep tight control on population growth.
Man, it seems like I'm watching like a Matrix movie that hasn't released yet, right? Like, seems like I'm watching a early, like a new Matrix movie early though, like in a private screening or something. There are holes for sure, but damn, like, imagine something like that for real happens. Shit, man.
Children are created by DNA genetically optimized for desirable qualities like submissiveness, agreeability, and lack of curiosity. They are incubated, educated, and assigned a role in society. When they're no longer useful, they're euthanized. This will seem humane. Letting someone live for years sick and old will seem cruel, and that's the cycle. The architects of the New World Order have finally achieved the utopia they've always wanted. Now, Surgeman Ast has attracted plenty of critics and skeptics.
For
Some
sure.
people call him a kook. Other people call him a prophet.
Oh, I would be... no, I would be terrified if people stop being skeptics though. Skeptics, for sure, you gotta think critically of absolutely. Yeah, if like everybody believes everyone just like 110%, and you don't question, like, bro, that's like, you know what I mean, right? That you don't want that. You want skeptics. So absolutely, I'm gonna treat this as like a fantasy though. Yeah, I'm treating this as a fantasy, but at the same time, like, you don't want to believe everything, but you also don't want to say everything is false or everything is fake, right? That's the approach that I'm having, but I'm watching this just for entertainment, and also, like, I love conspiracies, but it's like one of those things. I mean, of course, I'm a believer that we're not alone, and I also believe in God absolutely 110%. Yeah, right, like, so I'm gonna treat this as a fantasy though. I want to know, like, what about you right now? If you're watching at this point, like, I want to know, like, how you're treating this. As you treating it just another conspiracy, like bullshit, or you like, nah bro, this is 110% gonna happen, this is gonna happen. I want to know, like, where you at with it.
Unfortunately, we won't know who's right until it's too late.
That, yeah, another factor. Imagine you don't want to believe and then it happens. And even, here's the thing, right? Even if it were to happen exactly how it's being described, that they're gonna wipe your memory out, then at that point, bro, like, you're, yeah, like, you're not even gonna know anything, right? So why even bother?
Project Bluebeam claims NASA and the UN plan to fake an alien invasion using mind control and holograms to create a new god, then scare people into accepting a one-world government. Great story. But is it true? Well, I can't debunk a secret government program because it's secret. But we can break down Project Bluebeam to see if it's even possible. Step 1 is earthquakes. Do we have the technology to create them on demand? We do. We do this all the time by fracking for oil. The number of earthquakes of a 3.0 magnitude or higher in Oklahoma went from an average of 2 per year in the 2000s to over 800 in 2015, induced by fracking. So the technology is here.
Yep.
The problem is it can't be done in secret. You need huge crews of people and loud, heavy machinery. They couldn't hide it.
Yeah.
Step 2.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. Maybe we're still not ready for Project Bluebeam. Maybe it's real, but it's not gonna happen just yet. Just yet. That's a key word, right?
2. Global holograms of gods and UFOs.
We have the
This
technology.
tech doesn't exist. Nothing
What?
even close to it does.
Yeah, but the military is always 20 years ahead.
What? Nah, they do have holograms, man. They do have holograms. You haven't seen like one of those shows where there are like whales jumping around and it's like fake and all that? But I guess, okay, maybe they need a hologram but on a bigger level and that don't exist yet?
Maybe, but it would use so much power, you'd have to dedicate the entire energy industry to it. All oil, gas, coal, and nuclear energy has to go into this one single project.
Again, like another point, right? Like this leads to the same point that I was having. If this is entirely real, like Project Bluebeam is entirely real, there are people controlling it, and surely at least one of them gotta come out. And he's saying that, yeah, to make those earthquakes, you need like heavy machinery, a lot of people to make that happen. So yeah, exactly, right? Like if more people are involved in it, like then it's not gonna work. Then it's not gonna go smoothly because somebody is gonna spill the beans. Of course, people's gonna spill the beans. So yeah, maybe the time is not right, and maybe it's not gonna happen in our lifetime. Maybe it's gonna happen sometime not thousands, but hundreds of years later, maybe.
Word would get out.
Or a century
Step
later.
3, mind control, using electromagnetic waves. This tech exists, but it's not
crap.
really mind control. It can affect moods, cause anxiety, make people sick, even kill them. But you can't implant messages or create sleeper agents.
Yeah, the CIA's still working on it, though.
Well, if they are, they'd be breaking the law.
Oh, my mistake, of course. The CIA would never break the law.
Faking an
never break
alien
the law.
invasion, even without holographic technology, could be done. All you need is a story and a compliant media to push it.
UFO sightings are a national security threat.
The things that they came up against were potentially so advanced that they posed an existential threat to the United States.
Well, we already have that.
We do, and that's too bad. The Founding Fathers gave the press special protections to watch politicians. Instead, the press gives special protections to the politicians so they can watch us. That's dangerous because the United States has a dark history of false flag operations.
Yeah.
Remember Operation Gladio?
Link right down in your honeypot.
There was Operation Northwood
The
that
CIA
never
and
happened,
Mafia teamed up and armed Italian terrorists to kill civilians and blame the communists. Or Operation Northwoods in 1962. The Defense Department planned to attack Americans and blame Cuban terrorists. Then they'd invade Cuba. And thank goodness JFK said no.
Yeah.
He stopped trusting the military intelligence state after the Bay of Pigs.
Hey, and how'd that work out for him?
Not well.
Yeah, shout out to JFK. Shout out to JFK, but like, probably this is why he got assassinated, right? So, he was I don't know much about him. Yeah, I don't know much about him. I never really researched heavy on him. But on that principle, seems like that he made the right call and he was a great leader in that aspect. Listen, man, I don't know, right? He might not have been a great leader. Some of you are probably gonna say he might have not been a great leader, or maybe I'm wrong and you're gonna say, yeah, bro, like he was a great leader. I don't know much. I never researched, I never dug up his past, but just based off of this like thing that he did, or declined rather, like, hey, we're not gonna kill our own citizens. What are you, crazy? We're not gonna kill our own citizens. Just on that, like, I gotta say, great leader.
JFK didn't want war, so he was replaced by a president who did, Lyndon Johnson, who presided over the Gulf of Tonkin incident, a false flag operation where the US Navy claimed it was under attack by North Vietnam. Now, this is still controversial to say, but I don't care. It's the truth. The US government lied to drag us into the senseless Vietnam War.
What I want is somebody that can lay up some plans to trap these guys and whoop hell out of them. Kill some of them. That's what I want to do.
I'll try and bring something back. We'll meet that objective.
One telegram, which we later found from Commander Herrick of the Maddox, had been made available to the committee at that time. I'm quite sure they would have had long hearings, gone into it thoroughly, and if they'd been able to discover the facts as they actually were, I don't believe it passed resolution because it was based upon absolutely false, erroneous information.
50,000 Americans dead, 300,000 wounded for what? To enrich weapons manufacturers and chemical companies? Really? But that's the theme of this episode. To achieve their goals, whatever they are, the power structure has to deceive us. Okay, back to the UFOs, the whistleblowers. I take a lot of heat for openly saying I don't trust them. Everything they say is approved by the Pentagon. That doesn't mean what they say is true. It means the Pentagon wanted them to say it.
Yeah.
That's a great opportunity.
Yeah, like it's one of those things, right? Like, why now? Why all of a sudden they're ramping up the information and declassifying the UFOs and crap? Like, listen, I believe it. I personally do believe that we're not alone, but it's like one of those things, right? Like, yeah, when the government is telling you all that crap, you want to be like 50-50 with it. I think there's probably like a motive behind, right? And I think that's what a lot of people, whenever they come out and talk about it, people do feel that way, especially the people that already believe in the topic and the subject. In terms of the normies, I'm not sure. I don't know what like the normies are thinking. Maybe the normies are believing it, maybe not so much. Maybe they don't even care. That's how it feels like. The normies don't, they're like, yeah, how cute. Another UFO news, another alien news, how cute, whatever. Like, I'm just gonna hop over on TikTok and just scroll through 1 hour, scroll 1 more hour on that piece of trash app. Right, so yeah, I don't think the normies care that much, but you probably do, right? If you're here on the channel, I'm certain like mostly all of you believe in the topic, otherwise you wouldn't be here, right? Or maybe you're like the 1%er that loves to hear both sides. You don't believe in the topic, or I mean, you love to hear about it, but you don't believe that we're not alone. You might be like, we're alone. Oh, and that's fair though. That's fair though. I welcome everybody, but generally speaking, like, it don't work like that. You know, it don't work like that. We usually connect with people that have almost the same interests, like-minded people, right? That's who we connect to better.
For deception. David Grush heard from a guy who knew a guy who worked with another guy who said he saw UFO wreckage.
Bruh.
What?
Dave then went to the Defense Office of Pre-Publication Security Review, the DOPSA office inside the Pentagon, and he asked for permission to talk about what he knows, or what he says he knows. And they've given him permission to talk about crash retrievals.
Did we learn anything from any of that? Luis Elizondo was in charge of ATIP, but the Pentagon said he wasn't. Then he said they're smearing him. Then they said, well, he worked as a contractor, but not ATIP, and on and on and on. Which side is telling the truth? We don't know, but one side is using deception. Elizondo said he resigned because he was frustrated with the government's lack of transparency about UFOs. Great, that's what we need, that kind of bravery. Okay, tell us what's going on, what'd you see, what do we have? Well, he said, well, I have to be careful about what I say.
So they made it very clear to me that I have to be very careful not to talk about something that I'm not allowed to talk about.
Oh, but there are more details in my book.
Whatever's in there is cleared.
Oh, look, I want to believe these guys.
No, like, that's a good point he's making. If you're saying that the government is telling you to not say that thing, and you're openly saying that, hey, I cannot talk about it, but in my book I talk about it, like, yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. So I would believe him more if he was like, hey, the government is telling me to not talk about it, therefore I don't want to risk my life. Understandable. I'm not going to talk about it. Understandable. I'm not going to talk about it, plain and simple. But I'm going to talk about it in my book, though. Buy my book. Like, come on now. Come on now. Yeah.
But as they say, I've been hurt before. Air Force intelligence, where both men spent many years, specializes in deception.
Crazy, right? Oh, this is a good video, man. Shout out to the Wi-Fi.
We started slowly convincing him, or not really convincing him, but just giving him the idea that this might be just UFOs, extraterrestrials.
Okay, context. Apparently, Dottie Richard, this man's confession, he gave his confession. He worked for the Air Force, right? Or I believe CIA. And he was the false planter. What this means is that whenever there was like some UFO story that would come out, he would like try to implant false information, sometimes false evidence, to, you know, divert attention. Distraction, right? He was the distractor, and now he's coming out. When I say now, he came out just, it's been some time. He came forward and said that, yes, I was paid, this was my job, to falsify stuff or implant false information, be a distractor, cause distraction and all that within the community. So you're confused, people are confused with what's real and what's fake. He said that. Now, some people are now saying that, hey, so are you telling the truth now, or were you telling the truth back then? So it's like, you know what I mean, right? Like, so, yeah.
He ran with that. I have to be careful. Is it possible? And I'll be very careful what I say. Hey, I just tapped into a...
This is that guy that I was just talking about. So Richard Doty.
Secret laser on possible, and I'll be very careful what I say. Hey, I just tapped into a secret laser on Kirtland Air Force Base. Obviously, we can't have that happen. So all I had to do was say, well, you know what, Paul? Maybe what you did see was UFOs.
There's a place near Culpeper, Virginia called The Farm, and people are go there to be trained, to be professional disinformation, basically how to lie well.
There's techniques that we use, that we're trained to use, in gaining that person's confidence. And I use those techniques against Bill Miller, and agreeing to say things that we wanted said regarding the UFO community or within the UFO community.
And when you see people on CNN or CBS 60 Minutes, the folks that they will allow to talk about it are people that have been cherry-picked by this cabal, this secret government group, to say what they're told to say. It's scripted.
I want to be careful that I don't, because again, I haven't had what I have approval to talk about. I gotta be careful. I don't want to. Yeah, and again, I got to be careful because some of that stuff I haven't been cleared to talk about.
Do you have any examples of this? Yes, of course. Nick Pope, Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, all those guys.
Okay. Again, I got to be careful exactly what I say.
Dr. Stephen Greer, for sure, there are skeptics, but Dr. Stephen Greer, the guy seems genuine to me. He might not be though, listen, but he seems genuine. He's the one so far that is disclosing a lot more than all of the other whistleblowers, kind of, right? But still, you never know. Might be a government implant too. You never know, right? That's the thing.
But they have been, I know for a fact, been told what to say.
I'm still advised.
The blue shirt guy, that was he's Dr. Stephen Greer, for some of you that might not know.
They have been, I know for a fact, been told what to say.
I'm still advising the U.S. government on this.
You still consult with the government. You still have a security clearance. So,
and I'm trying to carefully message this. And on occasion, I still will consult for the U.S. government, for the U.S. government, for the U.S. government.
U.S. government, U.S. government. America!
So let's assume Elizondo is telling the truth. He said UFOs are a real threat to our national security. That's a serious statement to make if it's not true. But remember, Serge Manasse said that's all part of the plan, to convince us through deception that UFOs are a threat. So is Project Bluebeam happening? Well, Serge Manasse's story is complicated. The government did harass him, arrest him for misinformation, and he died the next day. It sounds like a conspiracy. But he loved Star Trek, and he called Project Bluebeam Star Trek technology. And Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, released the plot of an unreleased movie called The God Thing. It was eventually used for a Next Generation episode called Devil's Due. An alien uses technology to pose as a god and enslave a planet. She even uses mind control and holograms.
Oh, no. When did this guy release his book?
About 18 months after that episode aired.
Oh.
Right. Project Bluebeam sounds like science fiction because it probably was. But that doesn't mean there's nothing to the story. The world the elites want to create is exactly how Project Bluebeam describes. And it's already happening. They're already merging economies, cultures, and governments. That's globalism. The Council on Foreign Relations built
to a certain degree, like even if it's not gonna happen, to a certain degree it's already happening, like in some way, right? Like so some of it is kind of true. Maybe what he said was for example just like a plot of that TV show or whatever, right? But some things are coming true for sure.
Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission, WEF, Davos. These are globalists, and they're not looking out for us.
Illuminati Volume 1 link down in the click hole.
Globalism, if done right, could help poor countries benefit from wealthier ones. There could be better cooperation, easier trade, cultural exchange, fewer wars. Sounds good.
Yeah.
But their vision is more like Serge Manas's prediction. Centrally planned government, a single currency, controlled wages and prices, assigned jobs, no private property, and depopulation. They downplay their more extreme plans. Deception. And the rules they want to impose on...
This is why, like, in the very beginning of the video, I said that it does sound good on paper, but the way they're going about doing this, if it's true, right? Like, I think there are a lot of holes in the story, but if the way they are... if they do the way it's being said, yeah, right, it's evil.
On us to implement their vision, well, those rules don't apply to them. They want us to drive electric cars and take public transportation. They fly on private jets and are driven around by a fleet of Range Rovers. They want to install devices in our homes to limit the energy we use for heating and cooling, but keep their 5 houses at perfect temperature year-round. They want us to eat a plant-based diet.
And bugs!
And bugs, they really do.
How can we grow nutritious and sustainable food that supports healthy and productive lives with far fewer resources available? Insects are among the most abundant and nutritious animals on the planet.
But when these people get together, they go through a lot of steak and lobster. Greenpeace says that Davos is a distasteful masterclass in hypocrisy. And people often call out this hypocrisy. But here's what everyone misses. They don't see themselves as hypocrites. They need more resources because they're more important than us. They can't spend all day at an airport waiting in security lines and dragging bags and dealing with flight delays. They're so busy saving the world, they have to be exempt from the rules.
Yeah, like it's we are the peasants, so we have to, guys. Sorry, guys, we're the peasants, right? Nah, man, we not elite. Nah, man, you ain't a VIP. We peasants, brothers. We peasants. That's what they want us to be.
And most of these elites aren't evil people.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure about that.
Really, most are not. They want a cleaner, safer, and better world for everyone. They want to feed starving children. They want older people to live in dignity. They don't want anyone to live in poverty. Noble goals. Their solution? A rental-based economy for housing, food, and everything.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
Right. Ida Auken said at the World Economic Forum in 2016, the state would own all resources, and we just subscribe to them. Sharing and limiting access to resources would cut waste and pollution.
You want the function, you want the service, right? Why do you want to own a cell phone if you can just lease it? And if you lease, why shouldn't you lease your refrigerator or your washing machine or your dishwasher, or why do you want to own it?
And you don't want to own a home.
Secure a mortgage, buy a ton of furniture, and spend long hours on upkeep and renovation once in a while.
Why own it?
Why make all these commitments? Life is full of surprises.
Renting gives you more freedom and less responsibility. And if the state controls resources, they'd be shared more fairly. They would limit access for some people in order to give access to others.
From each according to his ability, to each according to his need.
Nah, listen, man. To be fair, though, I live in an apartment, so... yeah, man, like, cost of living is way too high, guys. It's way too high, man. It's way too high. I live in an apartment, man. I'm blessed, though. I'm blessed, though. No complaints, though. So, but yeah, it's kind of... is wild. Like, they're trying to go that route, right? Yeah, own nothing, be happy. Just subscription, rent, subscription. When I say subscription, I mean, like, of course, online as well and offline as well. Offline, of course, in like the real world, physically, you just gotta pay like monthly. You're not gonna own it, you just gotta like rent it, right? That's the concept. In the online world, it's like the main thing right now. Everything is like a subscription right now, bro.
needs.
Exactly.
For example, like I could just say that Adobe Premiere, right? It's like a video editing program. Most people use that. I'm pretty certain he's using this to make this video, or his team is using either this or Sony Vegas. So these are video editing programs. I'm not sure about Sony Vegas, but for Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, it used to be that you could buy the entire software, right? Yes, there are ways to get it around for free as well, but you could have bought it for a fixed price. It's now subscription. You don't own it. You gotta pay either monthly or yearly. You cannot own it. I hate that crap, man.
Exactly. Karl Marx said that.
I hate that crap. And majority do too.
That.
To each according to his needs.
Exactly. Karl Marx said that.
To each according to its needs.
That resource rental economy idea is just another flavor of communism. But they present it as this grand plan that would make everyone's lives better. Their presentation is deception. We know what would happen. We'd have to contribute our private property, but the elites wouldn't. They're too important. They're doing this for the greater good. That's not evil. That's just arrogance. Project Bluebeam is a warning. Don't be deceived into accepting globalism. The WEF has backed away from the own nothing and be happy idea, but only after they were called out on it. They liked it before.
Yeah.
That's deception.
And I bet you they probably still like it, but they're not gonna say it publicly due to the criticism and the masses waking up. I feel like that a lot of the normies are kind of like waking up, not necessarily to the Project Bluebeam idea, but to general stuff like that.
To accept their vision for a new world, existing institutions like religion, family, and patriotism need to be completely dismantled. Most of us don't want this, so the message has to be delivered as a subtle deception. Like maybe you can slip it into pop culture.
Let the past die.
I've read humanity's story, so now I'm erasing them.
I will shred this universe down to its last atom, and then create a new one.
Let the old ways serve us no longer.
The past is dead. We either move forward or we die with it.
Kill it, if you have to.
Karl Marx said that the old ways have to be torn down, and the only way to do it is by force. That's the only way.
There is only one way in which the murderous death agonies of the old society and the bloody birth throes of the new society can be shortened, simplified, and concentrated. And that way is revolutionary terror.
And look, this episode has nothing to do with politics. It's about the powerful using deception to take advantage of the powerless. You can be a communist, or a socialist, or a capitalist. I'm a little bit of all those, but most of all, I'm a realist. Believe whatever you want. Just be honest about it. All systems are flawed because we are flawed. When ideologues claim their system is fair, they're lying. Communism isn't fair, but neither is capitalism. Socialism isn't fair, and the free markets aren't fair. No fair system exists because some people will always take advantage and will always want more. They know this, so they deceive us.
100%, 100%.
Project.
But no, man, this is a very well made video. And all of these B-roll footage minus those like movie clips, AI, man. So this is like, shit, man, AI is really advancing. AI is really advancing. Maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, 5, 10, 20, 100 years from now, if we're still around, AI is gonna be insane. Yeah, right. A lot of small businesses, I would say a lot of up-and-coming YouTubers gonna be using it. Professional YouTubers gonna use it. Probably movies are gonna be using it to help them come out with like B-roll footage just like that. Yeah, right. But the question then would be, is it like soulless? Is it gonna make creation soulless? We're watching this video and it's full of soul. Like, it's a good video. It's just a B-roll footage that's AI, but it gets the point across. It's a good video. It's a good video, but still, you know, it's one of those things that people are always gonna question it.
Bluebeam may never happen, but the tools to control perception are here and being used against us every day. So what can you do? Well, get your information from as many sources as you can, but know they all have an agenda and use subtle deceptions to manipulate you. When you hear kill the past or unburdened by what has been, that's Marx talking, but they won't admit it. It's deception, and I want you to recognize it. Once you learn all the subtle ways the powerful use deception, you'll be changed forever. The world goes from black and white to color. You can't ever be deceived again. And when you learn, teach the skill to your kids, to everyone you can. That's the only way to stop Project Bluebeam and every other plan that requires us to surrender our freedom to the powerful. More regular people, like you and me, have to recognize when we're being deceived and say no. Whether it's the media, politicians, or a giant god in the sky, more of us need to see the power structure for what it really is. An illusion.
Shout out to the Y-Files, man. This was a wonderful video, though. Shout out to him. Shout out to you guys for being here as well. Check out this video on the screen. This is the last episode that we've done. I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna love this one. We had a lot of really, really crazy clips. Check it out, and I'll see you right there.